Reflections from within the General Assembly. What happens in a legislative weekly gathering? The Leaders of Faith Foundation is about discipleship among local, state, federal, and international leaders around the person of Jesus. So what is being shared in a legislative gathering? Of course, these times are private between the legislators, along with being a place set apart for conversation about spiritual matters. Is there something I could share with you without moving these boundaries, but to serve as an encouragement? Let me share some of the highlights from a recent gathering, excluding the names and place. Recently, we came together by way of a Zoom call. It has been great to work with them in setting up times and working on logistical ends for them. And the ministry work of discipleship with one another continues, but with a different platform. We started off by sharing what happened in one another's lives. How is everyone doing personally, in their family, and matters in the district with the people they represent? Here are men and women who are people themselves with an incredible and awesome role of serving the citizens of our great country. One of the elected officials then shared some thoughts personally and then turned it over to others to discuss together. Our time focused on being crucified with Christ. What does this mean? Was the question presented to us all. Luke speaks by saying, "Then he, Jesus, said to them all, if anyone would come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. For whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for me will save it." Luke 9:23 and 24. William Penn, in his book called No Cross, No Crown, shared some points in raising this question of what it means to take up a cross. The way, like the cross, is spiritual. That is an inward submission of the soul to the will of God, as it is manifested by the light of Christ in the consciousness of men, though it be contrary to their own inclinations. Therefore, as the cross of Christ is the spirit and power of men, though not of men, but of God, which crosseth and reproveth their fleshly lust and afflictions. So the way of taking up the cross is an entire resignation of soul to the discoveries and requirement of it, not to consult their worldly pleasure or carnal ease or interest, for such are captive in the moment, but continually to watch against the very appearances of evil, and by obedience of faith, that is, of true love too, and confidence in God, cheerfully to offer up to the death of the cross. In essence, we're going to give the idols up and hold nothing back when it comes to God. Nothing should compete with the exclusive being of God and following Him. Another question for the group that brought the text and William Penn's words to our own situation was asked, what does this all look like in the context of as an elected official? Who wants to promote themselves? But the nature of the work is that I have to say, elect Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith has done such and such. Does it always have to be about Mr. Smith? Then you become the politician who's about themselves and personal interest. Where can we have a balance that shows to others less of me and more of Christ? Well, the conversation continued in more sharing of personal examples that spoke to the fact of promoting, but with humility. Who are some other elected officials who model this aspect? Taking up your cross looks more towards others and less about yourself. It demonstrated itself through an appreciation of the team, staff, and other people in the community that made this happen. Using the office to help others and recognize their accomplishments to the community. How does one go about loving people such as their staff? They shared about bringing lunch to them weekly and making even a t-shirt saying, "I'm essential." Well, the examples being shared together demonstrate the value of others and not themselves. We then set a time aside for prayer together and concluded until the next week. What a moment of encouragement, challenge, practical, and deeply rich in the scriptures. Most of us don't see and hear these conversations. And I hope you are encouraged with a little glimpse into the ongoing weekly work with elected officials. What kingdom value in meeting together around the presence of Jesus between elected officials in a nonpartisan manner. What a comfort to know there are those seeking Christ, desiring to be like Christ, and living with focus about being crucified with Christ. Here lies true leaders of faith.